Hello and welcome. We're looking at facts about Skoda, the Czech car company. That's right. Been really interested in this. I think this will be fun. Ever since I saw rally cars with Skodas flying by, I was interested. As soon as I got to drive a Skoda in real life, I was hooked. So this is going to be really fun for me, I reckon. This is from alux.com. It'll be linked in the description down below. Check them out. Use that link down there to watch the whole thing uninterrupted. Let's take a look.
As a bicycle manufacturer, and then moved into motorcycle.
Oh, and for those that don't already know, that's a Skoda right there. Skoda Favorite.
Their first vehicle model, the Voiturette A, was released in 1905 and was a great success. In 1925, the Lauren and Clement Company was acquired by Skoda Works, one of the largest industrial enterprises in Europe. After World War II, Skoda became part of the communist planned economy, and they built a great reputation through a series of popular cars. The fall of communism in Czechoslovakia allowed the Skoda company to be privatized once again, and Volkswagen was chosen by the Czech government to buy 30% of the company in 1991, and by 1995 they owned 70%.
Wow.
Under the ownership.
So I drove a 1990 Skoda Favorite. I will link that video at the end if you missed it. It's really good. And that, 1990, 1991 was when the acquisition by Volkswagen, or at least the 30% happened. So that was like the last year of, I guess, like pure Skoda, you could say, before like more of the partnerships and acquisitions happened. Kind of interesting.
Of the Volkswagen Group, Skoda increased its production, reliability, and quality, and improved its reputation. Based in Mladá Boleslav in the Czech Republic, Skoda is now an 8-car brand made up of the Citigo, Fabia, Rapid Spaceback, Octavia, Superb, Yeti, and Kodiaq models.
These things are sharp, by the way. I know a lot of the newer ones, so I like learning about the older ones and the newer ones. Like the old ones are interesting for a multitude of other reasons. The newer ones, of course, people could say like, well, they're just reskinned VWs and stuff. I don't know. A lot of people have said that there are some features that are unique to the Skodas, a couple things that they do differently, and as well as just the aesthetic, right? I think the Skodas look so sharp. Like this Octavia looks sharp. I am used to seeing Volkswagens here in the U.S., and I don't have a problem with them, but they're a little more on like the utilitarian side, a little more on the basic side, in my opinion. These Skodas look premium. They look sharp, man. They just look a little better.
Inspired by Skoda's
I think they're different
history,
enough.
Ambitious goals, creative spirit, and willingness to evolve. So, let's learn even more about this Czech company with these 15 facts you didn't know about Skoda. Number 1. The Skoda company was founded because of an insult.
What?
As mentioned earlier, the Skoda company started out as a bike manufacturing company, and
Right.
its origins can be traced back to an insult. In 1894, Václav Klement could not find spare parts for his German bicycle, so he returned his bike to the German manufacturer with a letter written in Czech asking them to carry out the repairs. He received a reply in German that said, "If you would like an answer to your inquiry, you should try writing in a language we understand." Clement was insulted by the reply and then decided to start his own bicycle repair shop along with Václav Lauren. This company would eventually become Skoda.
Holy crap. That's interesting because I feel like, not off the top of my head, I don't know all of them, but I feel like multiple companies, especially car companies, have started out in a similar fashion by like some sort of disagreement or insult. Wasn't Lamborghini started out like that? Something about like he took his Ferrari, like he had a Ferrari, and he took it to get, or he like either took it to get serviced or he took it just back to the dealership because it wasn't like the kind of quality he was expecting or something. I want to say that's how Lamborghini was started, and they were, blew him off or whatever, and he was like, all right, I'm going to go make my own, now I'm going to make it better. I feel like that's real, right? Maybe that's folklore, I don't know. But that is really interesting when a company starts out like that over some sort of disagreement or an insult. It's like, I'm going to do it better then.
Number 2, Skoda was
and ends up changing the whole world. I mean, this is a big famous company here, so.
Austria-Hungary's official weapons supplier.
Wow, that's crazy.
Once Skoda had established an efficient production process, they became the official supplier of weapons to the Austro-Hungarian Empire in 1899. They produced heavy guns for the Navy, mounted guns, and machine guns.
Wow.
By 1917, they had nearly 35,000 people working at their factory. Their weapons manufacturing continued through World War II.
I think that could be said for a lot of car companies too. I guess it makes sense. Car companies have a lot of money. They're big. They know a thing or two about making things on a grand scale, right? Dealing with various materials and suppliers and sources. So, yeah, I think throughout time, a lot of automotive companies have, dabbled into other industries. Even in recent times, like I think a lot of car companies were dabbled into like medical industries during the pandemic and stuff. So
Skoda holds the record for longest main sponsorship of a sporting world championship.
really,
In May 2017, Skoda achieved a record for the longest main sponsorship of a sporting world championship when they sponsored the World Ice Hockey Championships for the 25th year in a row.
what?
Number 4.
I'm a super casual hockey fan. I actually haven't watched, like, I don't watch every game or anything like that, but I like the sport and I watch it here and there, here in the U.S., like the NHL and stuff. Obviously, hockey is worldwide, and I did not even know about that championship. That sounds pretty cool. I might have to look into that. And Skoda's been a main sponsor for a long time. Very interesting.
Skoda was the
I saw their branding on the ice. It's kind of cool.
first motorcycle factory in Central Europe. In 1898,
Wow.
Václav Klement and Václav Laurin bought a motorcyclette, which was powered by an engine mounted on the handlebars. When Laurin lost a front tooth in an accident, the pair decided to invent a safer machine with its structure around the engine. They introduced the Slavia motorcycle in 1899, and the company
Wow.
became the first motorcycle factory in Central Europe. They exported 150 of the machines to London and were credited by the press as the makers of the first motorcycle.
Okay, that's insane. I'm not going to lie, and this is just based on my ignorance here. Because as an American, I'm fascinated by Skoda because we don't have this brand here. And I still think that's odd. I do have a video about that, diving into some, theories about why they're not sold here. But I have to say, this history goes deeper than I would have thought because I didn't know anything. They have been into everything, weapons, of course, motorcycles, and we're talking early on, like pioneers of stuff. Holy smokes. And I'm sure we're gonna see more. They have a rich history. I did not think they were this old. I thought they would have been newer, like maybe, mid 1900s. I didn't know they were super old going back to the 19th century. This is crazy.
Number 5. Skoda also produced locomotives,
Jeez.
ships, aircraft, and more. After World War
Look at that freaking, look at that locomotive with the Skoda logo. I see it. That's ridiculous.
II, Skoda expanded its production into various markets, in addition to passenger vehicles. In this time, they produced steam
my
locomotives,
God.
freight vehicles, aircraft, ships, machine tools, steam turbines, and more. Number 6, Skoda plans to
They make everything. Did Skoda make this too? No, that's really impressive. I did not know they made all that stuff. I know other companies, again, I know other car companies have dabbled into other things as well, but did not know Skoda made all of those heavy machinery and trains and you name it, planes, right? What the heck? Yeah, look at this picture of the new ones. These things are sharp, man.
produce more than 1 million cars a year. Skoda has been
It's a lot.
steadily increasing its production numbers ever since it was purchased by Volkswagen in 1991. In 2014, Skoda produced more than 1 million vehicles in a calendar year for the first time, and their growth strategy involves hitting that million vehicle mark every year as a minimum. They are
Wow.
on course for a record-making production year in 2017, as they have already produced 1 million vehicles as of the end of October.
So is this an older video? I do apologize. This is an older video. This is from like 5 years ago. But, a lot of this still remains true. I'm sure they've only grown since then, since even 5 years ago. That means they're selling. If they're having to produce 1 million vehicles a year, which is a very big number, right? It's very impressive. That means they're selling, right? So it's interesting. They sell, from what we gathered, I think in another video, they sell in like a lot of countries, right? Over 100 countries or something. I can't remember the number now, but they sell in a lot of places. They just don't sell over here in North America, which is so interesting. But yeah, they are definitely selling, and I've seen nothing but basically positive comments, or comments saying that at one time they were looked down upon as a brand, and then they really revamped and won people over, right? Like it's very interesting.
Number 7.
Dynamic
The brand
with
introduced
the brand.
its first all-electric concept in 2017. The Volkswagen Group has announced that it plans to make its entire lineup electric by 2030, and one example that shows that Skoda is ready to take on the challenge is the Vision E concept car that was introduced at the 2017 Frankfurt Motor Show. The Vision E is Skoda's first all-electric concept, and its 2 electric
sleek.
motors and 306 horsepower make a top speed of 112 miles per hour possible. It can
Now, I still am on the fence about electric cars. I think they're cool. I think they're, neat. The styling is definitely hit or miss. Some cars are cool. Some cars are like, what the heck are they thinking? And I still want to like ride in one. I would like to ride in like a fast electric car to feel the power. I've driven electric vehicles, just not fast cars. Electric vehicles do feel different, right? And I can imagine a fast one would really just like blow your mind, I'm sure. But of course, I'm old-fashioned. Like, I love manual transmissions. I love mechanical feeling cars, right? I love cars with no power steering. I'm a freak, right? So I love combustion engines, of course. And, of course, part of me would never want to get rid of that. But regardless of all that, just looking at like loose data, I've been seeing a lot of headlines lately, just basically like this year, that electric cars, even though everyone's been pushing for them in various countries in North America, throughout Europe, and elsewhere, I have seen, at least over here, there was a big electric push, and now it's kind of fading. Like, electric cars are not selling well. That's what I've seen. Or a lot of people are buying electric cars and then selling them off and going back to, regular cars. So I don't know, like, what do you think the landscape's going to look like for this? I don't know if the whole electric takeover by 2025 or 2030, whatever, each brand's case is, I don't know if it's feasible. I think a lot of owners have ran into some problems, right? Some quality of life issues. So I don't know. I feel like the electric car thing is still just in a weird spot. And I don't know what the future of it will hold.
Champion cyclist Bradley Wiggins is Skoda's UK
Nice.
brand ambassador.
Hey, if you guys need a U.S. brand ambassador, just let me know, okay? Reach out to me. Although, sadly, I don't know if that would make sense because we don't sell Skodas in the U.S., but if you ever break into the U.S. market, give me a call, okay? I would love to shout you guys out as much as I can. But no, Bradley Wiggins, UK brand ambassador.
Skoda chose 5-time Olympic champion and Tour de France winning
5
cyclist
time, damn.
Bradley Wiggins to represent the brand in the UK.
Wow.
Skoda's representative said Wiggins is the perfect fit for Skoda as the brand shifts gears because he's just a normal bloke. He'll be representing
That's
the brand
awesome.
for the next 3 years under his current contract. Number
That's
9.
really cool.
Its name means too bad in Czech.
Really?
Although Skoda was named after Emil Skoda, who first branded the military equipment manufactured by the company with his name, the translation of Skoda in the founder's native Czech language isn't the best for a car brand. Skoda with a capital S means too bad in Czech, which is not great, but it gets even worse when Skoda is written with a lowercase s. Then it means damage, harm, detriment, and injury in Czech.
What? Now that is a funny fact right there. That is actually hilarious. Props to them. They stuck it through. They kept the name. They're like, you know what? We're hard charging. We don't care. Our cars are awesome. And we're just gonna keep the brand as is, right? We're not gonna let it take us down. That is pretty funny though. You gotta admit, right? Too bad or like damage stuff like that. That's a first. I haven't really heard such an ironic name for a brand in a while like that. That's actually hilarious.
Number 10. Volkswagen said it would be suicide to bring Skoda to North America.
What?
In 1959, Skoda exported its first and only car model to the United States.
No way.
The Skoda Felicia was such a failure in the U.S. market that Skoda has not imported any cars to the U.S. for retail sale since.
But yeah, that's 1959. Look at the car. This is actually a pretty interesting car. It is weird looking. Also, you have to keep in mind, 1959, I wasn't alive, but I know enough car history to know that 1959, the U.S. was really on its high horse, and things were going really well over here for the most part, and especially in the car world, U.S. was on top back then, man. The 50s, come on, look at all the amazing, legendary cars you had in 1959 to choose from. So I can imagine most people weren't really paying attention to this. when all of the current established import brands, but more so just the domestic brands, were just killing it back then. So that's not really fair, right? To judge this based on their try in 1959. It's a lot different landscape nowadays, right? People are much more willing to buy, non-domestic, foreign brands nowadays than they were back then. It's just a totally different market. And people are also used to cars that are shared between different brands, right? Almost every car nowadays is like reskinned 3 or 4 different times through different brands. That's not a big deal anymore. And then also, I think it comes down to more of that, though. I think Volkswagen's scared to bring Skoda here because North America is a huge market, big money market, right? And I think that Skoda, because of the quality, because of the cool features you get and the sleek looks, right? This element of class it has that I think the Volkswagen vehicles don't really look like. But it's a good price point. That's what I've been told. I think that would dip into their sales. Skoda might dip into Audi sales, or more so really might dip into Volkswagen sales. And you'd have some internal competition there, right? I think that's what it is, personally. We see a lot of brands do this. GM, for example, right? Chevy, they don't like to make cars really fast, even though that's happened over the years. They don't like to make flagship, like super fast cars from Buick, from Pontiac back in the day, or Cadillac even, right? They want the fastest car to be the Corvette or the Camaro, whatever, from Chevy, right? Like, we see internal competition things where they don't want another brand, even though it's partnered in the same group. They don't want certain brands outshining other ones. So yeah, that's just a theory by me, but I think Skoda would be pretty cool nowadays here, and they might hit it big. And I think they might outshine Volkswagen a little bit. That's just a theory. I think it also comes down to logistics, right? I think maybe they don't know if it's worth it to, invest a lot of infrastructure changes and rebrands and, new dealerships and stuff for Skoda. So I know it'd be kind of a big task, right? So, of course, there's a lot of like boring corporate reasons why they don't want to do it either.
At the end of 2016, when Skoda was reportedly toying with the idea of entering the North American market again, a Volkswagen executive quickly announced it was not going to happen.
Wow.
The senior VW chairman said, "We may be crazy, but we're not mad. Entering this huge market with an unknown brand, a model range focused on Europe, and a non-existent dealer network is pure suicide." If you want to learn some more interesting facts about the Volkswagen Group, click in the upper right-hand corner.
Well, look at the Volkswagen Group. They have so many brands, and most of these brands are here, right? Ducati is here. Porsche is here. Lamborghini is here. Audi is here. Bugatti is here. Bentley, Volkswagen, right? Now, of course, some cool brands that I've been learning about on this channel, we don't have. So, of course, Seat, I know nothing about. It's on my list to learn about, like I'm learning about Skoda. Of course, Skoda, we don't have. MAN trucks are badass. We don't have those. Scania, by now I'm a huge Scania fan. We don't have those either. So I know we miss out on some cool brands as well. The fact that he was so certain, saying, "Oh, there's not a chance." Like, we're crazy, but we're not mad, right? About Skoda, that is kind of bizarre. Like, whoa, okay. The dealer network thing, I don't really understand, because couldn't you just combo these with Volkswagen dealers? I mean, don't they do that sometimes, right? I mean, it's the same group. Then again, I'm trying to think. There is a separate Volkswagen dealer, and then there's a Audi dealer. They're not at the same place. So I don't know. Maybe they don't want them together. Maybe they want them separate, in which case it would be a big task to reopen tons of exclusive Skoda dealers. Yeah, their logo's cool.
2 different trademarks were redesigned for what would become the Skoda company. The first was a winged arrow pointing to the right with 5 feathers in a circle, and the second was a similar winged arrow with only 3 feathers. The 3 feathers option became the chosen logo,
Look at that.
and it still remains Skoda's logo today.
I like it.
The Skoda text was added to the logo in 1936. And that logo is full of symbolism, as the arrows represent speed, the wings symbolize progress and freedom, and the circle represents unity, completeness, and harmony. It cost over $650,000 to make the Skoda Cake commercial.
What?
Skoda launched a unique ad campaign in 2007 called Cake to promote the second-generation Fabia Super Mini car in the United Kingdom. The 60-second commercial shows a number of bakers working to create components of what the viewer eventually finds out is a life-sized cake version of the Skoda Fabia Super Mini. The commercial is set to "Favorite Things," sung by Julie Andrews, and the tagline says, "The new Fabia, full of lovely stuff."
They made a whole freaking car out of cake?
The commercial was deemed a success as it attracted a lot of attention to the brand and even won a number of awards.
That is the coolest thing ever. Why is that? That's so random, right? But that is so cool. Look at the size of it. It's actually huge. That looks like the size of a real car.
Commercial cost over $650,000 to make, and the cake was meant to be donated to charities and hospitals, but was no longer fit for consumption at the end of filming. Instead, it was donated to the East London Community Recycling Project for compost. Before they were acquired by VW, Skoda was known by many as the laughingstock of the automobile industry. But maybe not anymore. Now that you've learned more about Skoda, do you think they have successfully overcome their past reputation?
I think they definitely have. You guys, but I'm commenting from the outside, right? I have very limited experience with them. I'm learning about them. So I would really like to hear from you guys. This channel is always, I always learn the most from you. So I would love to hear what you have to say in the comments. I will have a look at that commercial in the future. That is super freaking cool. And yeah, there were some interesting facts in here. Not all of them were covered. So like I said, use that link down there. You can watch the whole thing and see some stuff we did not see here. And definitely check out their stuff. Keep your awesome suggestions coming. I cannot wait to see you in the comments, as I said before. And I just really enjoy every time I get to learn about them. The rally cars are super badass. I will have that video linked. Check it out if you didn't see it. Me driving a 1990 ŠKODA Favorite. A really, really fun experience. Totally different than most American cars I've driven, and I think that's why I enjoy it so much. It's so different, right? It was light, it was agile, it was not powerful, right? We're not talking Hellcat numbers here. But the car was fun, and that's why I love cars. There's just so much variety, and at least I can have fun in a lot of different settings, right? A lot. Big truck, powerful muscle car, Japanese tuner, or a European hatchback. I mean, sign me up. I really am enjoying learning about some cars that I just have not grown up with, like cars that we don't have in the U.S., and I feel like we've missed out on some interesting vehicles. Lots more to come, guys. Throw a like on there if you enjoyed this. Subscribe to be part of this amazing community we do have here. Click that join button to find out more about how you can become a member on this channel for only 99 cents a month. And with that being said, y'all, my name is Ian. You're watching IWrocker, and until next time, catch you later.